Can Bradley Cooper's second film, his sophomore effort, be a success like A Star Was Born? Let's find out. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Emporium's Netflix original movie review of Maestro. This film is directed, written, and stars Bradley Cooper. So Maestro is, of course, the story of Leonard Bernstein, one of the most famous American composers in history. He's, of course, played by Bradley Cooper here. And it, in essence, is the story of his life from like the early 40s to basically when he died in the 1990s, and kind of his journey through meeting Felicia, played by Carey Mulligan, and kind of his hidden sexuality, which was a homosexual gay man that is, of course, seen by his wife. And it basically kind of shows how flamboyant he was, how outgoing he was, but how he kind of was a genius wrapped up in an ego that kind of had a problem, and his wife kind of saw that. So it's basically an autobiographical story of Leonard Bernstein told through Bradley Cooper and produced by Spielberg and Scorsese. So Maestro has actually been going through the Hollywood circuit for quite a while now. Scorsese was supposed to do it before he went on to do The Irishman. Spielberg was, of course, supposed to do it, then he went on to do The Fabelmans. So they hired Bradley Cooper after they saw the first cut of A Star Is Born, and it makes a lot of sense. A Star Is Born was fantastic. It was a huge hit. It was a lot of Oscar nominations and stuff like that. So Bradley Cooper is also an actor that has garnered a lot of credit when it comes to Oscar categories, like, you know, Best Picture nominations and actor nominations. He's come a long way since like Wedding Crashers and, of course, The Hangover. He's now Hollywood royalty in a lot of respects, but he is an individual that wants to direct, and with The Star Is Born, he shows that he has potential to be a truly powerful director. So with a film like this, with Leonard Bernstein, you know, being well known for doing stuff like West Side Story and, of course, On the Waterfront, it was not really surprising that this film was eventually going to get made. Now it's supposed to be at Paramount, now it's at Netflix, and I had a chance to see this movie early. It went through the festival circuits, all that good stuff. And my honest opinion of this movie, now that it focuses, now I've seen it, I really didn't like this movie. I'm going to be fairly honest. It was confusing. It was very sloppily put together. It was very difficult to digest. It was very sluggish when it came to kind of watching it. So the only thing that saves this movie from being like an absolutely one of the worst movies I've seen this year is Carey Mulligan and Bradley Cooper's performance. It's kind of funny that Bradley Cooper wrote, directed, and stars in this movie, and his best part about this movie is the fact that his performance is fantastic as Leonard Bernstein. It's an absolutely kind of crazy thing to watch, to be fairly honest, because he embodies who Leonard Bernstein was, his tics, his mannerisms, his voice, but it just feels like a sophomoric effort. It really does. It doesn't mean it's like the worst thing I've ever seen, but with its like nature of like how it's put together, how it moves through history, how it kind of it tries to adjust to the setting of the world around him. It doesn't really focus on Leonard Bernstein's career, to be fairly honest. It focuses on his homosexuality. It focuses on his wife, which you could have that in there. But if you look at something like The Aviator, which of course focused on Howard Hughes, that movie is able to focus on some of the tics and kind of the mannerisms of Howard Hughes, but it also shows what Howard Hughes was capable of and what he does, as well as his lifestyle and stuff like that. Outside of a few things in here, there is nothing really to do with Leonard Bernstein as the composer. We see moments where, you know, his famous kind of operatic thing that he did at the church. We see, of course, some things that he does, but it's never really in focus. It never really does what it should. It just focuses on his home life, and therefore it's very rote. It's very boring. But the kind of the alternate route of it is that Carey Mulligan and Bradley Cooper are fantastic. They're Oscar-worthy performances. You know, Matthew Libatique, who's working with Bradley Cooper again after A Star Is Born, it really envelops how this movie's feel and look feels, you know, with the fact that the 40s and 50s of this film are very Hollywood 40s and 50s with the black and white, with the overexposure of the blacks and the whites. And then it goes into the 60s and 70s with the kind of graininess, with the kind of harshness when it comes to how the film like is projected and shot with the lenses that they use. And then it gets into the 80s and 90s where it really feels like a much more kind of focused narrative and focused look to the feel of the movie. But that's all I really enjoyed about this movie. The music is basically Leonard Bernstein's music. So you hear West Side Story, which is in a very weird spot of this movie. And I just think that this movie just fails on every single level of how it is to portray characters in the story. It's very much one of those stories that is much more a character piece than it is a story piece, and that is a problem to me. This really feels like a movie that is the lesser of Spielberg, the lesser of Scorsese. They would have really focused on the story and kind of pushed it and massaged it and moved it and did whatever they needed to do. Here, it feels like Bradley Cooper is he's uncomfortable with what he's doing. He doesn't really have a focus with what he's doing, and it really shows, to be fairly honest. And that's just my honest feel of this movie. So it's just not a very good movie to me. It's a movie that's going to get a lot of Oscar nominations, and I don't understand why. I don't think this is a Best Picture winner. I don't think it's a Best Picture nomination movie. I don't think the story is very good. I think it tries very, very hard to be what it is, and I think Bradley Cooper is very talented, but you also have people like, Maya Hawke in this movie, Sarah Silverman, Brian Klugman, Matt Boomer. They do nothing for this movie. The most that anyone gets in this movie is Sarah Silverman, and she does the best with what she has, but, with the way it's edited and the way it's put together, it's just a very choppy movie with a lot of potential that really fails under its own weight. And once again, Oscar-worthy performances from Carey Mulligan, who has to do a lot of heavy lifting and has to hide a lot of stuff from her husband, that is, of course, Leonard Bernstein, and her eventual, Felicia eventually passed away from lung cancer. So there is a kind of very slick Hollywoodization of that kind of situation. And they do their best with a very Hollywood stylized movie. But overall, wasn't a big fan of this movie. Potentially wanted more out of it, and I personally don't recommend it, but like I said, it's garnered a lot of nominations, garnered a lot of acclaim, and definitely for the performances, to me, if not for the movie. So anyways, with that said, that's gonna be my take on Maestro, which is now playing on Netflix, so check it out if you're interested, but just know going in, it's a very long, sluggish movie. So anyways, comments below. What is your favorite kind of score from Leonard Bernstein? Is it like West Side Story? What did you really like about him? Are you looking forward to seeing this movie? All that good stuff. Otherwise, if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.